Hey YouTube, Hickory Stick back with you again. Ignore the mess on my workbench. I've been doing some things. It's time to do some shooting. It's a beautiful day. I'm off work. The sun is shining. It's gorgeous outside. We're about to go do some shooting. We've got a lot of shooting to do. We're going to shoot up all our test rounds from our 30-06 in this video. And also, simultaneously to this video, I'm going to be filming a 4570 video also, because I've got some loads that I made a few months ago with the 4570 that I want to shoot as a sort of a baseline. So I'm going to be filming that simultaneously. I'm going to put them out as two separate videos. But I'm going to film them simultaneously, and I'm going to put them out there simultaneously because I want to get them both out there because we're fixing to start loading some 4570 also. But I'm going to film them, I'm going to put them out as two separate videos so that I can tag them in two different playlists. One for 30-06 and one for 4570 that I'm about to create. So, here we go. Let's get to the range and start doing some shooting. Okay, so y'all try not to laugh too much at me at my setup I've got going on here. The sun is killing me today. Where my shooting range is, the sun is right here at 1 o'clock position. So I've had to be inventive with how I parked my little electric cart here so I could get my scope in the shade, because I do not have a shade for my scope. Because when I first set up, I was in the sun, I couldn't see the target. So I've had to get inventive with this. I've got the camera set up in the back of my little, or whatever this thing is. My wife calls it a chuck wagon. I call it a glorified golf cart. But I've got my camera set up in the back of it, trying to keep it out of the sun so that it'll viewed where you can see this. But I know, me sitting here shooting is not the important part of the video. The important part is the results. And we're going to change up the methodology of how we do these videos of shooting, because I'm still filming on my phone. I don't have a target camera. Probably not going to have a target camera for a long time. So it's just not in the budget anytime soon. So we're going to change up how we do it. So what we're going to do is I'm going to shoot a group. Instead of like the first video, I shot all my groups and then went and talked about it. Well, now we're going to shoot a group. I'm going to shoot one group, and we'll go to a cut scene, and we'll talk about that group. Then I'll shoot another group, go to a cut scene, talk about that group. And that's how I think we're going to do it, to try to break up the monotony of me just sitting here shooting. So we've got our 168 grain Sierra Matchkings loaded up. Our 3 test groups going from our least amount of powder to our most amount of powder. And then we've got the ones that I had loaded up in the nickel casings as practice round. We're going to go ahead and we're going to give those a try. Targets at 100 yards. Once again, Winchester Model 70, 3 to 9 by 40 Simmons scope. And I have got to get a new scope, y'all. This thing's bad. I was looking at them over the weekend. Looks like Vortex makes a really nice, I think it's a 6 to 18 by 44. And Midway has them for $219, and I think I'm going to try to do that, splurge. I like to stay in the $150 budget range on a scope, but I just can't find a decent scope over 9 power for less than $200. So I think I'm going to go with that Vortex. Everybody speaks highly of Vortex, and I was looking through it. It's a beautifully clear scope. So I think that's what we're going to get just as soon as possible when the budget allows. But anyway, on to our first rounds. Remember, we had set these 20 thousandths off the lands of the rifle. We're going to give it a try. Now, let's take a look at our brass. Brass looks good. No ejector marks, comparing it to the other brass. No ejector marks. Primer looks good. Don't see any flattening of the primer. Everything looks good. All right, let's go for the next one. Brass still looks good. Don't see any sign of pressure. No primer flattening or anything like that. Yeah, beautiful. One more. All right, let's see what they look like. So this first group wound up being 2.349 inches. This was the 50.3 grain 4831 SC. I thought the group was actually a little better when just looking at it until I actually got it measured out, and it wasn't quite as good. I was thinking it was about 2 inches, so it's a little over 2. It's still the best group. That's still the best group I've ever shot out of this rifle. This was our lightest load. It was a very pleasant shooting load. So the next group we're going to shoot is the 50.8 grain load. On to group number 2. Let's see how they do. No ejector mark, no flattened primer. Case looks fine. We'll continue on. Yep. I think I pulled that one. That one's going to be off, and it's going to be my fault. Brass still looks good. This is still a very pleasant shooting round. So, we'll take a look at that group. So this group wound up being 3.330 inches. And I knew it was a little bit bigger than the last one. It's a 3-inch group. Still, you know, I'm still getting the hang of shooting at this distance and getting the hang of getting my bench set up. I need to get some sandbags. So, I'm still getting everything the way I want it. But this is a 3.330 inch group. Still happy with this. I'm still seeing a lot of promise going on here. So our next group is the 51.3 grain load. Alright, so one more group to try. In our first 15 loads for our 30-06 with the 168 Matchkings and the 4831 SC powder. First two groups hadn't been too bad. Yep. Same as before. Nothing wrong with the brass. Everything looks good. Did not expect to get any pressure signs at all on this brass because this is a magnum. Basically, this is getting on down towards the magnum powder. This is at the very bottom of the pressures of the burn rate for 30-06. So I did not expect to see any pressure problems whatsoever with this powder, and that has rung true so far. We have not seen any issues. All right. Still no pressure signs. Looks like we're good on those. So this was our 51.3 grain load, and things kind of went off the rails here. I don't know if it was me or if the gun didn't like the load. I'd like to be able to eliminate the me factor and say that the gun didn't like the load, but I can't do that at this point in time. It was probably me. I had tromped off down the hill to look at the target and then tromped all the way back up the hill, sat back down, didn't catch my breath, didn't stop and rest or anything, went straight to shooting. So it's probably me. It was a 3.9 inch group. Because the groups are getting progressively bigger. The first group was 2.349, the second group was 3.330, and this one's 3.9. So they're getting progressively bigger. So I would like to eliminate me. I just can't do that at 100% right now. But regardless, it's still way better than our first target that we ever shot with this gun. We got one last group to try here. That was my mid-range load that I loaded up first as a practice round. Interested to see what they're going to do. Let's find out. We might kill ourselves. I don't know. Shouldn't be. It's only a mid-range load. It's supposed to be safe. That was considerably hotter. I felt that one. Still no pressure signs though. Primer might be showing a little bit of flattening. Yeah, just a little bit of flattening on the primer. No ejector swipes, nothing like that. We're going to go ahead and shoot another one. A little bit of flattening primer I'm not too worried about. I mean, the factory rounds flatten primers. So I don't see any other signs. That is definitely much hotter. Same thing, a little bit of flattened primer. Nothing really to speak of. I mean, and the flattening is just minute, very small amount. I'll try to show you when we get back to the next loading video. I don't think you're going to be able to see it out here in the light the way it is. Still no ejector marks or anything like that. Primer's flattening. I'm not worried about it. Start seeing ejector marks, then I start getting scared. My barrel isn't even getting hot. I'm trying to shoot slow. Lord, I think I might have killed a bird. Just about the time I pulled the trigger, a bird of some sort flew in and landed right beside my target. And I don't know, he flew across in front of my target and he went down. I didn't see any feathers. Doubtful I hit the bird, y'all. But you know what? If I didn't hit him, I scared the snot out of him, that's for sure. Last but not least, with the 30-06 for this video was the 52.5 grain loads. These were the nickel cartridges that I had loaded up as practice before I filmed the first loading video for the 30-06. They actually shot a much better group than the 51.3 grain load over on the right over here. It was a 3.9 inch group. This is 2.9. This is an inch tighter group. I slowed down. I caught my breath. I went slower on this one. I have got to get myself some sandbags set up on my bench. So this is the target. I've still got a lot of work to do on myself as far as shooting goes. I mean, a lot of you are probably looking at this target and thinking, you know, this guy sucks. He can't shoot. Well, I'm still figuring this out. I'm still learning to shoot for precision. I've always shot good enough to kill a deer, but now I'm trying to shoot precision. So I'm still learning. I'm still getting this figured out. This is very promising to me, though. It's far better than our last target, than the first target. So I'm really happy with this target. This is heading in the right direction. It's looking good. These Match King bullets are shooting great for me. I mean, they're making me shoot this good. So obviously they got something going for them. So we got more powders to try. I picked up 2 different powders that we're going to try on this next video. So we've got a long way to go. We're just getting started with this. So I'm going to drop this video and a 4570 video at the same time, because while I was shooting this, I also shot some baseline 4570. Check that one out also, because we're fixing to start messing with 4570.